door. No need for knocking, come on in. Bring your family and your friends. Got you geeked and tuning in. YouTube watching or listening. Music is the major topic. Enjoy audio erotic. When the merch arrives, no copy. Help me monetize and profit. Mix the genres up like salads. Rock to reggae, face the ballad.
Turn it up. You're listening to Live and Loud with the Lord, Nelson, that is.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, you know who it is. It is yours truly, the Lord Nelson, that is, from the podcast Live and Loud with the Lord on the CMS Network with 5 Royals Entertainment. And ladies and gentlemen, look, I got my glasses on. Let me take these glasses off. I know I can't read sometimes, but I'm going to take these glasses off because I want to give this young man the utmost respect and show the pretty face here. I'm not as pretty as he is, but I'm showing a pretty face here. But it's all love, ladies and gentlemen. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, this young man that I have today on my show, woo, he's on his way to superstardom. He's an amazingly talented musician, and his roots screams music. He has worked with the biggest artists in the industry and has their utmost respect and love as an artist. His new album, Genesis, is an incredible project. Believe me, I enjoyed it, man. There's no doubt about it. I enjoyed it. I really did. And every single second of your listening time, ladies and gentlemen, is worth this. His album is worth your time. So make sure that you listen to it after we get through with this. And of course, we'll put all the things so you can get it and love and show and all. Anyway, I'm talking too much, man. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'd like to introduce the amazing Mychael Gabriel. Let's clap him up, ladies and gentlemen.
Ooh,
yes, indeed.
Man.
I'm nervous, man.
Man, you rolled out the red carpet, man.
No, man. Listen,
oh my goodness.
I'm nervous because, man, your history is there, and I just want to talk. But we're not going to talk about too many of those things. We're going to talk about you, and we'll get into a little bit of that. But first question always is, where are you from?
I'm from Minneapolis.
Minneapolis.
Yes, where it's like 40 below right now. Thankfully, I'm not there right at this moment. I'm currently on tour in Atlanta, but yeah, I'm from Minneapolis.
Minneapolis, Minnesota, indeed. So what's the best thing about being from Minneapolis?
Man, there's a lot. So it's a balanced city, you know, and the weather speaks to that very much so. Some days it's super cold, which is great for creatives because you can just isolate yourself in the studio because there ain't nothing else to do. What else are you going to do outside in 40 below? You ain't going to the beach. So I feel like that's where a lot of the creativity comes from because literally half the year you're kind of shut in, you know, on a serious note. I mean, does play a role, you know, so, you know, you shed. So that's, I mean, that's one of the things. Seriously, I mean, as much as we joke around about the weather, it's a real thing. But it makes you appreciate the beautiful moments, like, you know, in the summer and spring and stuff. All that much. Yeah.
Well, Minneapolis is the land of how many lakes is it?
10,000.
10,000 lakes.
Yeah, but there's more than that. There's like 15,000 or so. But 10 sounds better. Yeah.
Okay, so. Are you an only child? And if not, where are you in the line of siblings? And are they also musically gifted like you?
I have 6 other siblings. Wow. Some of them are into music, but not professionally. Okay. I'm the only one that kind of, from a very young age, was like, this is what I really want to do with my life. Indeed. And I knew that pretty much like straight away. Like there wasn't really any other option.
Love it. So what was the first instrument that screamed, Mychael, make love to me?
Dude, that was the guitar, man. Yeah. Guitar, man. It was everything to me as a kid.
Right.
You know, Yeah, I grew up, watching the Sign of the Times, Prince's Sign of the Time concert film. I'm like 3 years old, holding my plastic guitar upside down, backwards, running around the room, trying to mimic everything that I saw on screen. And that was just everything, And then I really found a love for the guitar when I discovered B.B. King, at a young age. And I was just like, man, he's making that thing just sing,
Right.
It's like you're not even listening to the guitar, you're listening to like his soul or something like that. And that was just really intriguing to me, the versatility in the instrument, where you could be shredding one moment, but then it could be, tender and almost like, a whisper or something like that in the next. So I started playing guitar. My parents got me into lessons, classical style lessons, when I was about 6, I think. Timeline's a little fuzzy. But I asked my dad, I said, are you sure this is how Jimi Hendrix got his sound with this one? And he was like, oh, well, that's a classical guitar. I said, okay, so there's different guitars then. And he's like, yeah. He said, I think you want to play electric guitar. And as soon as we made the switch, I was like, yes, this is it. This is it for me.
Oh man, that's awesome, man. Yeah, definitely the guitar is such a great instrument, man. It's not easy to play.
Do you play?
Listen, so how you asked me, so in my other interviews, I've been telling people, not interview, conversation, because that's what we're having. So
Sure.
Behind me, my bandmate, Matt Acevedo, because I'm in a band called Plastic Catastrophe with Lord Nelson.
Oh,
He and his wife gifted me a guitar, right? So I pick it up and I go and I'm learning. But let me tell you something. I'm a writer. I write.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Playing guitar is difficult, my brother. Playing guitar is it is a definite, oh man, it's so passionate. You got to be super passionate about it.
You do. You got to eat, breathe, and sleep guitar.
But it's definitely a difficult thing. It's beautiful behind me. I pick it up. I plug it into my amp. I do a little something, but I'm in the learning process. Let me say that.
You know what? It's like, okay, so learning guitar is kind of like barbecue or any meal worthwhile that takes a long time, even a crock pot. Let's take it there.
Yeah.
You got to cook it low and slow, but by the time you've taken your time with it, that meat is all nice and tender. It's like perfect. There's nothing better. So just stick with it.
Hey, thank you, man. That's a great explanation. I like great analogy of it. I like it indeed. So is the music scene in Minneapolis still a hotbed for talent?
I would say so, yeah. There's a lot of talented musicians out there. It's you just have to be on the lookout for it. There's a lot of great things. I'm not super duper connected, believe it or not. I'm not super duper connected with the scene now in Minneapolis because at the start of my career, all of my contacts and all of my work was happening on the West Coast.
Got you.
I started, working out there at a very young age, like 16, 17 years old, and just kind of stumbled into this as a career and, been doing it ever since. So my scene is kind of more on the West Coast, but that doesn't mean that I don't, still have a passion for the scene in my city. And so more recently, I've been playing with cats out in Minneapolis, especially kind of post-pandemic and stuff like that, trying to get more interconnected with the scene out there. And there's some incredible musicians.
Right. Well, it segues right into this. I can hear the Minneapolis influence, but I know you've also taken it to a modern sound.
Goes in the night like a phantom, madam, show you the best side of me, baby, you can lie to me, time it don't matter, yeah, you shot like a Wolverine, cutting me open, I'm coping and hoping that you take me away.
That's super dope. You really have. And so
thank you.
This is your sound. It's funky and it's in the pocket, and it's an amazing vibe. It really is.
Thank you.
So I salute you on that. So you are a super talented musician, and I can tell you're into sonics. So can you speak on what the sonics do to you mentally?
It's all about feeling, man. It's all about feeling, especially with this record, Genesis. It was, feeling came first and foremost. I almost kind of treated genre as almost as if it was just another tool in my wheelhouse.
Right.
It's like, okay, I'm going to pick up a guitar. Okay, I'm going to pick up a bass. I'm going to pick up a piano. That was kind of this idea behind the different genres of music in this record, and so I wanted this record to kind of breathe that sort of same energy that I feel when I get inspired. And so I said, it has to be a multi-genre album because I love so many different genres of music.
I feel you.
And I feel like we all do, I feel like most people I know, it's like, I only listen to this. I haven't really met that person,
Right.
It's like, let's break down those barriers. So there's a little bit of 1970s rock in there. There's a Minneapolis sound. There's a little more modern vibes, some R&B. Yeah. So it's a pretty versatile album by design.
Well,
and it all comes down to feeling.
Indeed. I'm with you on that. And so I have my term genre snobbing. I was like, no genre snobbing. I don't believe in that because I love all genres of music.
Right.
And to hear you say that, man, I just applaud that because I think that's the way that people should be. That's the way I grew up. I listened to everything. I still listen to everything. My palate is just it just varies. And it's just what I'm feeling, man. So when you saying that, man, I love that, man. I love that. So how many different instruments do you play?
Oh, as many as that are needed for the project. Really? I got like most of the rhythm section covered, drums, bass, guitar, and then piano, whatever other ideas kind of come to mind. I'm sort of impatient in the studio. So I because I'm an engineer by trade too. Right. So I'm there and I'm like, okay, I have an idea. I just need to get it out like right away. And, sometimes I might even have the intention of sending it to somebody else or getting it retracked. But then also I get used to hearing it a certain way.
Right.
And for this record in particular, I said, you know what? I just want to play everything on it. Future projects, because I love collaborating too, future projects, I think it would be great to, invite and collaborate with other musicians, especially, because a lot of these guys are my friends, so to be able to kind of create something, with my friends and my family, my musical family would be really cool. But for this first project, like this first step, I said, Genesis is the first step in a longer journey. For me, I wanted to just play everything. So everything you hear from the beginning to the end is completely me, whether it be vocals, background vocals, all the instruments and whatnot. I just was like, okay, this is it.
Yeah, you're taking a cue from somebody else doing that, which is unbelievable. We're still not going to even get into that yet, but it's all. But that's amazing, though, man. I love that. You, I love that. So,
thank you.
So, are you a hip hop lover? And I ask this because the way you ride the music is incredible. I mean, the way your lyrics, you're flowing, you are on that beat and that vibe. You're there. Some people a little bit, they might be off here or there. Nah. You are on it, man. It's a beautiful ride.
Well, I mean, talking about loving all different styles of music, that so came into play. And I feel like lyrically and rhythmically, like I have a strong sensibility for rhythm in the lyrics, especially. I feel like it's important to make it singable, and sometimes I have a way of overcomplicating it, but I feel like maybe that kind of comes from some of, the more hip hop sort of oriented inspirations that I might have. And so that kind of comes through in the music, because rhythm is everything. Timing is everything. It's like you could be saying something that seems inspired, but if the timing is off or you're singing it in a kind of weird way, it's just going to be off-putting. Right. It's like, oh yeah, this is so poetic. But if it's not coming out right, it's going to miss the mark. So yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah, you get it. You definitely get it, man. When I say you're in that pocket, most definitely you. Once again, you're just riding that beat and the rhythm so well, and I agree with you. It's all about that flow and that rhythm. I can't
Right.
do without it. I have to have it, no matter what I'm doing. And when you talk about lyricists, that's me. I have to have
Right.
that. So I appreciate you, man. And
Yeah,
once again, I applaud you. Yeah.
Andre 3000, you know, for me as a kid, I was like, oh man, that guy, the way he's able to like just kind of weave lyrics together, like he's saying so much, but it's poignant, it's cool, it's dope, you know.
Yes.
But the way his rhythm and his patterns are, is structured, it's just like so inspiring to me. And so I feel like some of him and other lyricists like that, you know, where they structure their songs, it's huge inspiration to me.
Indeed, you use your vocals as a true instrument, and that's once again that's what makes it beautiful, man. So yeah, thank you, man. This is dope. Genesis, ladies and gentlemen, Genesis. It's the new album, man. It's an amazing project. So okay, let's talk about Genesis.
You know, I wanted it to be just fully transparent. Like this is me from beginning to end, from engineering, production to the performance, all of it. And you know, for better or for worse, you know, it's like, okay, I just want people to get the kind of full kind of picture of like, this is it, you know. And from a creative aspect, you know, I like just being involved in every step of the creative process. Not to say that I don't love collaborating as well, but I've been doing that for like a long time in my career. You know, I've been collaborating with a lot of different other artists and whatnot. And I said, you know, what if you took the same time and attention that you spend on these other projects with something for yourself? And that sort of idea started ruminating during the pandemic. And so I said, you know what, let me just, like a lot of people, you know, you start reevaluating like, okay, what am I doing? You know, what do I want to do?
Right.
And this was something that was really heavy on my heart. And so I just went after it. So yeah, the production, everything you hear is me.
Hey, listen, I understand. It's a great thing. You did a great job.
Thank you.
I'll say it again, ladies and gentlemen. Genesis. Genesis, indeed. So I'm hearing many influences in your music. Would you mind speaking about a few of them?
Yes. I mean, well, you know, Prince and Sheila E are going to be, you know, always those kind of top tier, you know, just a lot because of the, you know, sort of family connection, but also, you know, just because like that's what I grew up on.
Right.
You know, so it's just in my DNA. So like a lot of those sort of sensibilities are going to come out. Lenny Kravitz is another one that comes to mind.
Indeed.
You know, Joe Satriani was a huge inspiration to me as a, you know, guitarist.
Yes.
You know, so, I mean, but my parents were really great about just exposing me to all different genres and styles of music and whatnot.
Amazing.
So whether you hear it in the record, you know, there's little inspirations from, you know, Stevie, the Stylistics, Rolling Stones, AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, you know, Earth, Wind and Fire, James Brown, you know, all of it's all kind of sprinkled in there in its own sort of way, you know, whether it's evident in the music or not. But yeah, I mean, I feel like we're not made up of, as musical creatives, we're not made up of any sort of one like inspiration, and just like us as people, we're made up of all of our experiences across the board.
Right.
And I feel like it came out in a very unique way in this album.
Indeed. A salute to your mom and dad. You know, my parents were like that. I do my best with my children.
Yeah, it's important.
Yes, I know I've raised them to listen to everything. Some things they might be like, oh my goodness. But what's so wild is that my daughter now, well, I have twins also. I have an older daughter and I have twins also, a boy and a girl. And my daughter always says, she's like, Dad, when I hear stuff on the radio now, I just think about all those days back then when we were like, oh my goodness, Dad is playing all this different kind of music. But they hear it now and they know it and they appreciate it.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing, you know.
Well, music is a universal language.
Yes,
you know, some of my favorite songs are even in a foreign language even. And yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like speaks to your soul. So I feel like, you know, it's important to educate young people on, and so that they have like a wider palette for, what they're listening to and what they're listening for. And they just have a greater appreciation for it, whether they become musicians or not in the end of the day,
100%. I always tell people that music is my high. It's my drug. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do anything. I may be a nerd and a cornball when it comes to that, but it's me, and I don't apologize for it. But I know music is my drug. It's my high, man. It makes me
I totally feel you on that. Yeah, I totally agree.
And mind you, ladies and gentlemen, you can do whatever you want to do whatever you do to get wherever you need to get. I know that music takes me to that, that other level. That's all I need, and I'm good to go. Yes, indeed. So
it's a natural high for sure.
Yes, sir. So being around so many superstars in the music industry of all genres and holding your own with them has to be an ego boost. But what keeps MG humbled?
You know what? Honestly, it's because of my different experiences. The trend I've noticed is the people with the most talent in the room are generally the most humble as well.
Right.
And so that made a huge impression on me. And I was like, okay, I see you. I see what's happening. You don't have anything to prove.
Right.
And like that just had a huge impact on my whole perspective, especially like in this industry. Because it can be fickle and, whatever. And, careers are up and down and, it's always changing. But that was everything. And so I just carry that example with me, just to try to stay humble and let your work speak for itself.
Awesome. Love that indeed. So I love your guitar playing. I love your tone and the way you are feeling the music. You're so in tune with the other instruments. And did this come from practice or just a God-given gift?
It's practice. I mean, it's practice. I mean, you can be gifted, but it's like a knife, you can start out the box with really sharp knife, nice blade, but you got to sharpen that puppy,
right.
You can't just, cause it'll get dull. It's not going to cut the same way after a while. So you got to keep sharpening those edges. So it's work, but if you're passionate about it, it doesn't feel like work, and this is what I get. This is where I get my enjoyment. This is where I feel fulfilled. So, I could be sitting with my guitar for like several hours and I'm just like, oh, what? The whole day's gone? Like, oh, well, I guess I'm going back to playing my guitar. But it's worth it. And I feel like there's what do they say? That example, if you want to become excellent at something, you got to put in like 10,000 hours and whatnot. Right. That time's going to pass by whether you want it to or not,
100%. Yeah.
So, I mean, find whatever it is that you're passionate about and just go after it, just like 1 hour at a time, and you're going to see a difference.
I agree with that, man. That's a great answer, man. Look, Mychael Gabriel is handling business, man. He's just giving you the truth of what you should do.
Hey, man. Hey.
I love it. So you're presently on tour with the incredibly talented and amazing Sheila E.
Yes.
Sheila E, man. Just my mind's going right now, man. Just thinking about Sheila E. Just growing up. Wow, man. Unbelievable. So how has this experience been for you, being that you know her very well?
I mean, dude, every night we hit the stage, that feeling you just described, that's how I feel on stage. She was playing a drum solo the other day, and I was just kind of sitting there, and I was just like, this is bananas. this is wild. This is really wild. She's beating them drums to death. Yes. I felt bad for that drum set. I was like, oh my gosh, that's taking a serious beating right now. But it's incredible. Every time we hit the stage, it's a new and different experience, because not everything is, rehearsed. There's a lot of it where she comes from that, sort of train of thought where it's like, we're musicians, right. We're here to play, so it's like we may have these rehearsed songs, but we're gonna, go off, sometimes. And so you have to be ready. But that's kind of those are some of the most magical moments.
Right. Indeed.
So the tour has been great. It's always great. We started in mid-January and we're going up until like March. But yeah, it's really, really great.
So now you play guitar in her band, correct?
Yeah. I've been playing guitar in her band for nearly a decade now.
So are you doing your stuff? Are you doing Genesis? Are you playing? Or do you have your band? Are you touring with her like that? Or are you just in the capacity of playing guitar for her?
So I'm a touring musician. So, right. I tour for her. Okay. I have some tour dates for myself coming up, playing this music, my music, Genesis, later in the year. And we're slowly adding more dates and different things, because, for me, putting this record out was only part of the journey, and so being able to perform these songs live is something I've been chomping at the bit to do. It's kind of like a way of, it's like the cherry on top. It's kind of like capping off the entire project. So that's something I'm really excited to have the chance to do. So you can be on the lookout for that in 2023 as well. Indeed.
I could just picture it. I'm a super visual person. And so just like even you were talking about Sheila E playing, those drumsticks just going, and I could just see her face when she's into it and the intensity, or when she's smiling and that she's enjoying it. And so I just know that what you're doing also is going to be I just visualize it.
Thank you very much.
I just think that it's going to be great and, an experience for the audience to see. I really do. And when I'm saying these things to you, I'm not trying to gas you up or anything like that. It's just me, how much I love music. Yeah. And I'm just thankful for it. I'm thankful to be introduced to it. Chris Aiken, thank you. Shauna O'Donnell, thank you guys for bringing this young man to me. So it's just a great thing. It really is. So I just want to say that listening to Genesis evokes so many pleasurable feelings within me. So I'm transported to another space and time, and the high is euphoric to me. So how would you describe the experience the listener will receive when digesting your musical art?
For me, I wanted this record to kind of feel like a roller coaster ride. I know a lot of us, we listen to songs, we listen to singles more than we listen to albums and whatnot. But But, for me, I grew up listening to a full record from front to back, and I still like enjoying music that way. Yes. And so that's kind of how I approached it, So at the beginning, I wanted to get that same feeling that I get when I see a live concert and like they just come out with guns blazing. Yeah. Like the time is like that, it's like they just come out straight out the gate, just like. And I'm like, it's a great feeling. So I was like, okay, I need that in my record. And, from that point on, I was like, okay, we need to shoot up to the moon, and then we need to stay there for a second. Then we need to come back down. So, I needed there to be hills and valleys and whatnot. So because it was all based on feeling, it's a multi-genre record, but it's a multi-genre record because I needed to invoke different emotions. So, hopefully you feel a wide range of, different emotions. But my hope is that at the end of it, you come away inspired.
There is no doubt that's what it does. There's no doubt. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't care who you are out there, Genesis, you've got to listen to it. It is a great listen, and it's worth your time. There's no, honestly, once again, I'm just listening. I'm just like, oh man, yeah. Okay, I'm here. Okay, I like those vocals. Okay, man, that harmony there. Okay, that chorus. I was just like, man, I was like, okay, He's going into his riffs. He's really playing this guitar. I love it.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
What was a song that stood out to you on the record?
So you got, you know, I got the track list up here. Let me say this. The last song, which you ended nicely, "See You Again," is wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
Now let me go back up. What I laughed is "Madam, I'm Adam."
Yeah.
You know, I was just like, first of all, I was like the title. I was just like, oh, okay, but cool. Lyrically, just nice, because I'm a lyricist, so I'm listening to what you're saying in all these songs, and I'm just like, he's taking me there. I'm feeling.
Did you catch that "Madam I'm Adam" is whether you spell it forward or backward, it's the same.
And listen, I'm looking at it now. Let me tell you what I do a lot. I'll look at words and I'll always say them backwards. So you saying that is amazing to me. I love that.
The song title came before the song. I was like, oh, it'd be cool to like have a palindrome as like a lyric and the title of a song.
Yeah.
So that's where that came from.
And so Radioactive Girl.
Mm-hmm.
Man. Anyway, man. I'm telling you, every song on here is a great song. Every single one is a great listen.
You.
There's no doubt. I truly enjoyed listening to it, and it's something that'll be in my rotation. I like to keep certain things in my rotation where I just vibe to them, and it'll definitely be
nice.
Because I like to just get in the vehicle by myself sometimes and just turn on music and drive through the city and enjoy myself. I love music like that.
That's everything. Music in the car, just cruising. Woo. Love that.
So, okay, I'd be remiss if I don't talk about this individual who I think is the greatest entertainer of all time.
Yes.
To me, he's the greatest entertainer of all time. And his last name is Nelson, just like mine. I've always felt that we're family.
Yeah, there's a kinship there. I get it. Yeah.
I've always listen. I told my children for the longest time, I was like, no. That's your cousin, most definitely.
Yeah.
And I never told them different till they got a little older now, you know, but just I never got the chance to see him. But I, when he passed, my wife and I, we watched Prince the entire day. I mean, for 24 hours, I watched it on television. I cried. Other entertainers have passed, and I've been sad, but I cried when Prince left here, man.
Yeah.
He was just the most incredible person, and just like you, playing all the instruments, and he was that guy also. So when you say that, that touches me, because I'm just like, that's incredible. Not everybody can do that. That's a definite talent.
Right. But I will say it's because of people like him that kind of inspired people like me. It's like, oh, it's you can do that.
Right.
It's like he was kind of breaking down a lot of barriers in that way, where it's like, things that you hadn't heard of people doing before, he was doing it and doing it with ease. Yeah. I say a lot of times he's like a Mozart of our time. There's, like a one in a million, sort of thing. Got goosebumps. Definitely gone too soon.
Yeah, got goosebumps and just thinking about it. Like when he played on my guitar gently weeps. When they had him, I watched that so many times, and I reposted that, and it was just so amazing to see him do. I mean, to be on that stage with so many greats. Yeah. But to be the standout and looking at their faces, and they understood who he was. They understood what they had right there. They understood what was there and what was shining. And man, I just love it, man. So I know your parents knew him very well. So how much, were you around, or did you see, of him?
So my father was personal security for Prince. For those that don't know, he was personal security for Prince. Ended up becoming his manager and president of Paisley Park eventually.
Right.
So there was the closeness is kind of an understatement, sort of, when it comes to the relationship between, those two and their friendship and whatnot. Right. So he was around, he would come to the house. I would go to Paisley, visit my dad at work, right. At the time, it's like, I was like, I'm just visiting my dad at work, right. It's like, is there a candy machine or, where's the ice cream? I'm just a little kid, Right.
It was your norm.
It was my norm. I didn't understand that it was unique until I got a little older and, got a little bit more perspective. I'm like, oh, okay. So that wasn't normal, right. Going to like a Prince concert. Oh, that wasn't normal. Got it. Sort of thing. And then, in my young adult years, having a chance to kind of be a little bit closer to, the working side of it,
right.
Having a chance to kind of be in the backstage and kind of helping out, when he played Coachella, or going to the studio with him and Sheila, just different things like that. It's, you have a different appreciation for it and you go, oh my gosh, this is really not normal.
Right.
So yeah, today, I'm filled with nothing but gratitude for those, different experiences I was lucky enough, blessed enough to have.
Beautiful.
And so, now I'm just doing what I can to, try to honor it in my own way. There's never going to be another Prince,
right.
There's never going to be, he's the greatest, honestly. I share the same opinion. So I feel like, all of us as, musicians and artists and whatnot, that's all we can do now. His musical legacy speaks for itself,
yes, indeed.
And it doesn't need any help, so, the only thing that any of us can do is just try to honor it, in our own way, with our own artistry.
Well, you've actually done that. A few of those songs where I'm feeling that vibe of it. I'm just like, yes, indeed. And then you did it very well, and you still made it your own though. And that's what's great. So,
yeah,
man, I don't know, man. Just Sheila E, Prince, man. Just taking me back to my youth, man, and just thinking
legends, man.
Legends. And listen, I want to say it on right now. Sheila E, I've been reaching out to you. I know you're busy, beautiful, but I've been reaching out to you. Yes, indeed. So I know you guys are on tour, so I'll leave you alone a little bit.
Put it out in the ether.
Yes, put it out in the ether because I'd love to have her on here too. Yes, indeed. So it's all love. So what is the last song you listened to?
The last song I listened to?
The very last one. I love asking this question. It always gets people. Yeah.
So my answer is going to be kind of funny.
All right.
It's going to be. I can't remember. I'm just going to name two because I can't remember which one was the last one. Uh-huh. But it's because it's kind of work related. Uh-huh. So I listened to Heaven on the Sheila E Sex Symbol record because we added a short little thing to our set for that.
Uh-huh.
And then I also listened to Love on a Blue Train, also on a Sheila E song, self-titled album. But yeah, both of those were kind of like work related. So it's like a lot of the stuff that I listened to, of course, anytime I pop in one of those tunes, Prince or Sheila E tune, it's pure enjoyment. But a lot of times it's work related too, so a lot of the stuff that I listen to is either something of mine or a project that I'm working on and whatnot. And so, a lot of the times when I'm listening to something for pure enjoyment, listening pleasure, is like if I'm in the kitchen cooking or, something like that, because a lot of times, as a musician, I'm always like cramming other music for the next show that I got.
Right.
So yeah, that's kind of funny part about it.
Yeah, I asked that question to the musicians, and when I asked that question, I like to end with that. Because we as musicians, we are working on our stuff a lot. I know I'm working on stuff just even last night. I know. So, we're listening to a lot of what we're listening to. So I always like to know, I always like to ask that question. That's a selfish thing for me.
You totally get it. You get it.
I like to know. So I wanted this conversation to be all about you, bro. And I pray I achieved this. And I just want to thank you for your time, because I know you're very, very busy. And, my show is for you. Anytime you want to come back, my brother,
yeah, man.
It's wide open. Just, you don't have to knock a ring. Just come on in, put your feet up, and you're home, man. And
of course,
I just really appreciate you. It's been another great conversation that I've had. Ladies and gentlemen, Live and Loud, what the Lord is doing. Man, 2023 has been a bang.
Woo. Starting it off with a bang.
Hey, it's been a bang, man. We got Mychael Gabriel, this unbelievable individual in Genesis and stuff. So please give my listeners and watchers your social media information in any way that they need to get in touch with you.
Yes. So you can follow me. My social handle is Mychael Gabriel, Mychael with a Y, Mychael Gabriel. And then my website is the same, mychaelgabriel.com. And you can find all the information, all the latest stuff right on those platforms.
And ladies and gentlemen, go out there and look at his stuff. It's a great site on his link tree and all that. He's got it all mapped out for you. It's beautiful.
Got it mapped out.
Nothing out. Genesis is the new album. It is hot. It's blazing. It's amazing. I just don't say that lightly. I speak the truth. I'm the Lord. The Lord doesn't lie to you. Nelson, that is, but the Lord don't lie to you, man. We're going to keep it real and stay true to the game all day, every day. Now, last thing, is there anybody you want to show some love to? Sheila E's, your mom, dad, anybody,
Everybody on the list. Yeah, my folks, my mom and dad, Sheila, my wife, my kids.
Yes, indeed.
Love you guys.
Yes,
love you guys.
Family's important, man, most definitely. So tell Sheila I said hello. I'll be waiting for her.
All right. Sounds good, buddy.
Yeah. So ladies and gentlemen. Oh, no. You're welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, it is yours truly, the Lord Nelson, that is, from the podcast Live and Loud with the Lord on the CMS Network with 5 Royals Entertainment. And my very special guest, who I'm so honored that he is here with me, Mr. Mychael Gabriel. Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, be good, man.
My pleasure.
Continue success with the rest of the tour, man. Be good.
Thank you, man.
All right. Take care. All right. Peace.
Sunday afternoon. Sunday afternoon. Sunday afternoon.
The Lord has arrived, full aboard, free of charge, can't afford to miss it, we won't be ignored. No need for knocking, come on in, bring your family and your friends. Got you geeked and tuning in, YouTube watching or listening. Music is the major topic, enjoy audio erotic. When the merch arrives, no copy, help me monetize and profit. Mix the genres up like salads, rock to reggae, face the ballad.
Turn it up. You're listening to Live and Loud with the Lord Nelson, that is.